Welcome back into the workshop. Today we're going to be doing an oil change on my Freedom Z Skag. Pretty much oil change on any motor that you got out there that's a lawnmower like this. Yeah, this particular one happens to be a Kawasaki FH580V, 19 horsepower motor. We'll go ahead and look at what all we're going to need to do the oil change on this. The first thing would be oil catch pan would be a nice thing. Catch all your old oil in that. The oil filter, it's a Kawasaki. It's going to be part number 49065-7010. So that'll be the replacement for this particular engine. Just look up your information in your manual on your lawnmower if you have one, or good old Google, whatever. We'll probably get you to it. We're going to use a good 10W30 motor oil. Now, you need to look at your manual, find out what kind of oil is recommended for yours. Now, my particular one, on my dipstick itself, if you come in here, and I don't know how well you'll be able to read that, but if you do, it's, let's see if I can kind of get it in focus. It gives us options of what we're supposed to do right on the dipstick. So this says that for the correct oil level, do not turn cap on the threads. That's always useful because everybody kind of asks about that. So this particular motor, you just set this dipstick down onto it. It does show you your full and your add lines, so you do want to be someplace in those small dots there to indicate where your safe oil level is. And like I say, as you come up here, it gives you several choices of different types of oil that's good to run in your mower. So I've gone ahead and I've been running just a good lawnmower utility oil, 10W30, so that should get us there. And the only other thing we should need is our 10mm wrench here that we got to get the oil out of the engine with. So let's go ahead and we'll start out with grabbing the pan and the oil. Now in mine, it's fairly mess-free operation. We set our pan up underneath there, and right here on our motor, it's actually set up to have a hole in there. Yours may or may not have something set up that convenient. A lot of them don't, and it's hard to get this out. But we simply, on this one, we can just crack this valve open. Now I did run this motor just a little bit to get it around into the shop to make sure the oil is a little bit warm. It's always best to have some warm oil into it because it flows a little bit easier to get it out of your engine. So we'll loosen this up and let her flow, and she's draining down into the pan. You can't really see it. It's a black pan with black oil. So we'll go ahead and let that one drain, and then we're going to go ahead and get a rag, because when we remove this, that oil is going to be up into this filter some, and we're going to make a mess of that. So let's grab a rag. I didn't include that in on the first part, but anybody who does any oil work knows you're going to need a rag or two. Okay, the next phase of this is going to be simply removing the oil filter. Now, if we put this on correctly, we should be able to just simply grab a hold of this with hand and lefty-loosey, so give it a little bit and it spins. So we'll go ahead. We've got our rag set up underneath it to catch as much of the oil and drip as we can. We'll go ahead and spin that off real quick and get her tipped up so we don't lose any more oil out of it than we have to. But like I say, you're going to get a little bit of it out. There we go. As you can see, it's going to drip and make a mess, as all of them do. For some reason, they like to do that. Alright, so we'll match our oil filter up. Should be the same number, and it appears it is 49065. So we'll take that, and we'll see if we can make a little bit of a mess here too. Pull our old one out, or our new one out. We always want to put a little bit of oil around the seal, and a lot of times all I do is just take the two of them, put them together, make sure they match up so that they look the same. That puts a little bit of a thin layer of oil on the gasket, just like it's supposed to. And then we go ahead and simply start it back on here. That should start very easily. Now, when you go to put this on, you want to just give it a spin. It should spin right freely on. We made sure our gasket didn't stick to the flange. But when you get too where it stops spinning easily, what you're going to do is just give that another about a turn. And that's it. Don't crank on it too hard. You'll never get it back off of there. Never use a wrench to put it back on. So we'll wipe and clean up the enormous mess we've got here. We'll probably have to do a little wash down after we get all done. Like I say, I've never found a good way to get the oil filter off of there without making a mess. So, all right, the oil's still draining out the bottom, so we'll let that go ahead and finish draining, and be back with you in a minute. Okay, now I did want to mention that if you do have trouble getting an oil filter off, there are several wrenches out there. This is one style. This is kind of an old one, been around a long time, and it's kind of universal so that you can do big filters right on down to these little ones, so it's kind of universal. But it basically comes in and it'll clamp right around your filter and give you that extra grip and level to take it off. Like I say, never use it to put it on. You never want to tighten it down with a wrench. So just something to keep in mind. There are tools out there if somebody did put that on too tight and it doesn't want to come off. There's tools out there that you can get to help you get that off without destroying it and without hurting yourself. So, all right, we'll go ahead and continue to let the oil drain it. We want to go until it stops coming out the bottom. Okay, in the springtime, I'm going to kind of give my advice as my opinion. I don't know, I may be right, might be wrong, but some people will say, hey, spring, we're doing a tune-up, go ahead and replace your plugs. I don't know, mine seem to run for a long, long time and not have to worry about it, so I don't normally change my plugs. I would maybe pull them out and check them every couple of years if that's what you determine you need. Air filter, you definitely want to check, so we'll go ahead and pull this off and make sure that's cleaned out. And I thought I had another filter, but I don't think so. I'm going to have to order me a new filter, I think. This one's been in a little while. But it's not in real bad shape. It's got some dirt around it, so we'll blow this, clean it off, and I believe, looks like last time I replaced this was in 2021, and here it is 2026 season, so it's been on there for a while. Like I say, not really in bad shape, but I do keep it cleaned out because I do like it to breathe well. It's got a little bit of residue, so we'll clean it back up. I'll order me another replacement filter, and I'll probably go ahead and replace it here a little bit later on in the spring. Okay, now if you're like me and you don't have your spare filter and you do want to clean it, keep in mind that this air is going to be trying to be sucked in this direction. So it's going to be always collecting your dirt on this side of the filter. You don't ever want to take a hose or air hose or anything and blow it into the filter. You always want to take it and blow it out of the filter. So you always blow it from the other side. And I don't know if you'd ever see, but you see the dirt and dust, it will flow right out. And that's got her cleaned up pretty good. Now we'll blow off the edges a little bit. Okay, just don't blow it back into there. You always want to blow it from the other side, blow it back out, get her cleaned up. And she'll do fine. She's got good airflow through it. But we'll get us a new one. But you can do that periodically and make sure your filter lasts a little bit longer. And yeah, I can hold it up the light and pretty well see. You probably ain't going to see it too much in yours, in the camera, but you can almost see daylight through her. So we'll go ahead here and simply set the filter back in place. And I wouldn't recommend blowing all this stuff off if your filter's not in place, because you will introduce a lot of dirt and dust into your carburetor, and that's what you don't want. So don't blow and stir up a lot of dirt and dust while you have your carburetor or your filters off. And say, if that's all sealed up nice and tight, now we could clean up around it a little bit. And there again, just don't blow straight into the filter. Just a quick cleanup would be good. And we'll set our filter back on here. Ooh, I did forget, we do have a foam filter in there, and that caught a good bit of that dirt. So we're going to go ahead, same thing here applies. We'll go ahead and clean this out. Now if that was real dirty, you could actually take that and wash it and all, and then put it back in here, but I don't think we need to do that. A little bit of dirt in the cover. Let's go ahead and blow and clean that out. And we should be good to go. Set our little foam pad in there. Let's see if we can get this back on there. And one more quick clean off of that. And I think we're good to go on that. And with that, our oil has stopped draining out the bottom, so we'll go ahead and tighten our drain plug back up. Okay. Now, if we have everything all cleaned up good, we'll be able to tell whether or not we've got any oil leaks, that type of thing, because we'll be able to tell that when it hits this little ridge in here. So we want to make sure that's as clean as we can get it. That way when we do start it up, we'll know whether or not we got a good seal on that. We don't want the oil to fall out of it. Okay, next we'll go ahead and refill the oil. Okay, put the oil back in there. I am going to use a funnel. If you're a real good shot, you could pour this probably without it, but I'm not a good shot. I don't remember exactly how much oil goes in this, but I think it's close to a quart. So we're going to go ahead and add about a quart and keep it from sloshing all over the place. We'll turn this thing so the spout is up top side. That'll keep it from splashing all over the place. And you don't want to overfill this or any oil engine. That's just about as bad to overfill it as to run it empty, because it builds a lot of pressure up and in your crank and can cause your valves leak through or your rings. So we'll let that set for a second and we'll do a quick reading on it with the dipstick and see just how full we are to start. As I said before, you don't want to screw that in. We just set it there. And let's see if we've got it enough to get a reading on the stick. That's kind of hard to say. It's still got a little on the sides of it. It's definitely dry down on that end, so I think we need a little bit more, at least the rest of this quart. So we'll go ahead and put that in. Sometimes this new oil is pretty difficult to also read on the dipstick, so you do have to be careful with it being clean like that. It's not always easy to tell whether you've actually got it on the dipstick or not. And a little bit of oil will be on the edge, so you'll sometimes rub it up against it. So just let that drain for a minute, and we'll come back and check it and add as needed. Okay, next thing we need to do on the oil change is that's settling down and seeing how much we have. I've added another little bit of oil to it, but we need to recapture the used oil. And I always like to put it right back in the container I just poured the new oil out of, and then we'll take that to the recycle center. And these jugs, they'll kind of flop around a little bit on you, so you have to be careful. I use a little quick grip clamp on there, that way the jug doesn't tip over. And when I'm trying to pour, I can do it without having the thing tip over and make a heck of a mess. So we'll go ahead and add this back into the jar. And if I was smart, I put the little sight glass on this one so I can actually tell when it's full. And we'll pour it on in. Now this will do a couple things as you're doing this. It's going to tell us about how much oil we need to put back in it. And so we'll fill this one on up to the quart mark. Okay. And then we'll get another little quart, so it's definitely going to take more than a quart. So we'll go ahead and let that one settle second, and I'll get my second can ready to go. Okay, we've got the oil into another, I had another spare can, and we've put another one in there. It's about a quart and a half. There was a little bit of used oil in the bottom of this one, so don't pay attention to that level. But we'll let this sit here and drain back into that, and like I say, we will recapture that and take that to the recycle center. I've added about a quart and a half into this approximately. So what we're going to do now, we'll go ahead and run the mower a little bit and get that oil up into the oil filter. It'll take a little bit more, and then we'll do another reading on it just to ensure that we have enough oil in it, and then we'll be good to go. And that's pretty much all you need to do an oil change on most small engines like this. So hope that helped, and have a happy mowing season, and let's go ahead and make 2026 a good year and keep our engines running. Thanks a bunch, and we'll check with you on the next project.